In this tutorial, we are going to focus on the maze again, and this time with the goals, so we can switch to the other second level maze or third level maze, whatever. So I want to just show you how to program those, and it's really quite simple. I think once you program your main character and load in your mazes, after that it goes pretty smoothly. So let me show you how that's going to work. Let me make myself smaller. Okay. So what we have here is, this is the maze I was working on last time. I have a main character, and if you remember, I told that main character where to start, right here. I click the flag and it goes to another maze, and there it starts. Okay, the thing I want to show you now is I programmed it to go through this red maze and to stop at the walls. And the main thing is for it to hit a goal. So you want a sprite to be loaded onto the maze, and when your main character gets to that, it hits it and it switches you to another backdrop, which is your next maze. At that point, you just get rid of that particular sprite and bring in a new goal. Don't try to use the same one. It's a lot easier that way. So first I want to tell you that when you're programming and working with your maze to see how things work, if you're in this mode, okay, not this full screen mode, okay, not that one, but you can cheat, so it saves some time. So if I can move this guy over, so I don't have to keep going through the maze every single time. That saves a lot of time. So here's the goal: is when this guy gets to the banana, boom, it does that. That's what we want. So let me show you how that was done. I'm going to click on the banana. All right, let me zoom in a little bit. So this is how we did it. It's really quite simple. You put a flags clicked and you want to show it. All right, now you could put the coordinate where it goes, but you really don't even have to, because if you place it there, that's where it'll start every time. So I'm cool with it being there. So position it. When the flag's clicked, you show, and you do a forever if-then statement. If touching creature 1, that's my main character, this is the banana talking, then I'm going to switch to backdrop 2, which is my second maze. And then I hide it, and that's it. It's gone. And that's all I do for that particular sprite. So that's how that would work. So let me get there. I've loaded up. Let me show you what my stage looks like. You want to load up your mazes right up front. Get them all in there if you can. So I have this one, the first one, then I made this one, and then I have this third one, which is real basic. I'm not probably going to worry about the third one. But this one has orange walls, and I'm going to show you how I handled that. So I'll go back to code. All right, so once again, on the banana, I have that goal. Once it hits, it's gone. So let me do this again. I'm going to cheat. And boom, now it's gone. And that's it. So I'll bring in another sprite for this ending. All right, so here's a couple things you have to do at this point. When you do the switch, you have to tell the character where you want it to start again. Like we did that for the first one right here. That's when the flags clicked. So now I'm going to position where I want this guy to start. So I think I'm going to have him start down here this time. So I put him there, let go, and now if you remember correctly, this block here, which I'll bring over, it says go to, and it brings those coordinates, wherever that character is, that's where the coordinates are. Okay, so that's all set. You have to position it first, then those coordinates will be there. Now, what I want to do is, let me get rid of this. when does that happen? Well, you go to events, and this is like with the target game. You put this when backdrop switches to 2. Oh, is that it? Let me double check. Make sure I have the right name on it. 2, yeah, that's right, 2. I just wanted to make sure. So back to this guy. Whoops, character. Okay, so when backdrop switches to 2, then it goes to that coordinate. All right, so no matter where I end up, it goes down to where I want it to go. That's for the second maze. All right, and then here's what you want to do next. Let me get there again. I'm going to cheat and get to the second maze. And it shoots over there, and it went down there where I told it to. All right, good. Now for this one, instead of setting it up, the movement like we did before with all this stuff, if touching color red, then it goes back 3, so it stops at the wall. This one, I'll make it a little bit easier for myself and more difficult for the player. I bring this over, which I created last time. So this is what this is all about. All right. You have, when backdrop switches to 2, this character goes there. This time, I want, if it touches the wall, this color, then I want it to go back to my original place. So the stakes are a little bit higher. So here's what you want to do. First of all, if you remember how we did this, you have this, you slide this in from sensing. All right, it's this one. It's touching color. You click inside the color, and to get the exact color of the borders, you click the eyedropper. And then you have this circle. When that circle, the edges turn that color, you click down and it populates with that exact same color, and that's very important. Okay, then we want it to go back to this exact coordinate because that's the beginning of that particular round. So you have a couple options. I think since my character is there already, this will be in that block, which is in motion. Or you could do this. This is what I usually do. I'll pull this off for a sec, and I right-click on that block and duplicate it after I take it off of the other. Okay, then you put it inside there. Okay, and then it should, do its motion and everything. When it hits the wall, it should bounce back to the beginning. So let me test this whole thing out. I'm going to cheat. Go here. It switches mazes. It goes where I told it to, down here. I go up. Let me hit a wall and see what happens. Beep, it goes back to the beginning. All right, that's exactly what I wanted. Let me test it again. Now you have to make sure that your character will fit through the walls of the new maze. You might have to shrink it to begin with to make sure it fits through all your mazes. There it goes. It goes back to the beginning. That's great. All right. Now what I need to do in this is my second level. I need to put in another sprite as my goal. All right. So I'm going to do that now. I don't know. We have bananas. I'll see what other fruit we got. There's an apple. That's good enough. I'll double click that. It comes in. If it's too big, you have to shrink it. So I will. All right, I'm going to put that one, I don't know. I'll put it up here. Okay. All right, now that's your next goal. So what I would do as a shortcut is I'm going to open my backpack up. Let me get out of the way here. I'm going to clean it out so I don't get confused. All right. So I'm just going to copy the other one, from the first round, and I'll make some minor changes like we did in the target game. Go down here, drop that in. Okay, now Click on the apple and drive that up inside of the new character. All right. So we have to make some changes. Number one, if a couple changes. I'm going to pull this off. All right. I'm in second round, so I'm going to slide. Actually, I should have just kept that there. Okay. So when the flag's clicked, I need to hide this apple because I don't want it there in the first round. So you have to hide it. So you got to think through that. So I'll do that. Put a hide there. And then what is going to get this to show up? You go to events, and hopefully you guessed it, it's this one. When backdrop switches to, it would be 2. So when backdrop switches to 2, this shows up. If it touches the character, this time I'm going to switch it to my last maze. Now my last maze is called Maze 2, which is not a great name for it, but I could just click that, and then it'll go to that maze. Okay, so that's that. Let's see if that works. Okay, the apple did not stay. That's good. I'll cheat. I'll go here. Okay, the apple's there now. Good. My guy's here. I'll go here. I'm going to go and hit the apple, and then it goes to the next maze, which is right there. You could, at this point, have just a sign that says, you've done it, game over, or something like that. But I already had that loaded in, so I used it. Okay. The only thing I want to show you next and lastly is you need to add points. You need some kind of point system. And all I do is I'll give some points when I hit these fruits. Okay. So what I need to do is, we did this on the target game. You go over to variables, and we have to make one. We have to make a scoring thing. So click variable. I did that. Make a variable, not make a list. Make a variable, and we'll call it score or something like that. How about points? That points is good. All right. So now I'm going to be on. First, I'll be on the banana, and I'll put change points by, and I'll put that in here somewhere. And usually I give it more than 1 point, so I can go 5 points. Okay, so if it gets hit by the creature, it switches, it gives me 5 points also. Now I'm going to go to the apple. I want some points when I hit that. I'll bring that over again. Put that here. And I'll change points by 5 again. So I'll get 5 points. And then the last thing you've got to do for sure is go to your stage. And we had one thing in there from last time. When I click the flag to start this maze game, it switches to 1. And I also want to, just like we did in the target game, I'm going to put set points to 0. That's it. That's my stage. It's nothing like the target game where we set up our scoring system and our level system. In a maze, you don't need a level system because the level system is really in here. When you're getting touched by the main character, it makes the switch. All right. So that's the basics. Now you can all add, I'll show you this other game. What I would love for you to do is maybe add some more stuff. And I'm not going to go over teaching that, but like in this old game, I have these blue dots, and I explained that those were, it's really glitchy. Those were there to get points. You know what I mean? So you could add stuff like that. And then, like I said in the last video, have those go away and not come back until you start the game again. And then when it goes to level 2, I'll cheat. When it goes to level 2, it switches. Please switch. What is it? Oh, I didn't push the flag, I guess. I don't know. Let's try again here. I'll cheat. Get to the... There we go. It goes to this one. And then I brought in red dots this time, and I got some points. Let me just show you the code on one of these dots. So here's one of the dots. It's set up like the goals that we did, the fruit. When backed up switches, I hide it. When the flags click, I show it. This is for the first rounders. So if I don't end up getting all of the blue dots, then I have it hide when it switches to the second maze. And then the red dot, I have it hide when I start the game because I don't want the red dot to show up on the first maze. And then I have it show up when I get to the second maze. So that's kind of how that is. If you need to stop this and look at the code for all this stuff, that'd be great. That's how I learned how to do it too. But that's pretty much it. So there's the basics of a maze, and you could go crazy with the mazes. You could do so many cool things. I've had kids even do a maze, and then the next level goes to a target game. That was kind of cool too. I guess you could do that if you wanted to. Anyways, I'll talk to you later, and let me know if you have any problems or questions, and I'll help you out.